Good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode 487. I can't remember. It's been 10 minutes. My memory doesn't go back that long. What's up? Good morning. Happy Hoodie Friday. Supporting the Milwaukee Bucks today. I haven't watched any NBA in a long time because in a few months, well, probably since Christmas. So that's only been 1 month. It's a long January. And a long December, as the Counting Crows would sing. So what's up, Zach? Good morning to you. What's up, Dan? Good evening to Dan. So just random hodgepodge of topics that I just wanted to touch on today. Thoughts rolling through my head. One of which I'll get to in a moment was the another more drama with Project 70 in the art that they used. So I want to talk about that because it hits close to home because I actually know the person slash company that was like, hey, you're using my stuff. I know personally. So, and the person who called the artist out, I know. So it's like, oh wow, I was reading that this morning. Dan got boosted yesterday. Think it made me take a nap earlier. Probably. The booster kind of hit me not as hard as my first shot. Second shot I felt great. First shot felt awful. Booster shot felt crappy. What's up, Jenny? Good morning to you. So I want to talk about Project 70 drama. Let's see. I'll give an update on my Goodwill stuff. And I did make a Walmart run yesterday. I've been like working around the clock, digging through this Goodwill stuff, getting shipments out. I haven't even been able to list cards on eBay. So I just needed to step away and just take a half an hour, 45 minutes, and just clear my head. Clear my head by looking for baseball cards, right? Makes sense. What's up, Dan? Good morning. The Olympics, I believe the Winter Olympics opening ceremonies are going on right now. And I thought about this morning. Like now we don't really think about the time difference, but like back pre-internet, remember the Olympics pre-internet? Um, and I guess you'd really have to go back to 19 if well talking summer games to 92 Barcelona before internet because 96 was in Atlanta, so we didn't have the time difference. And we did have the beginnings of the internet. Not too many of my friends had internet in 90. My friend Scott, he had the internet in 96 because his mom worked for the telephone company. So he had the old dial-up internet in 96. Because I would be like, I want to look up like old wrestling results. That was my thing, looking up old wrestling results on the internet. Um, and then by 2000 we had the internet, but like back in 92 or you go back to 88 with Soul, um, we didn't have internet. We consumed our news from newspapers that came the next day or from CNN and in our national news stations. And I don't know this. I was thinking about this, and it's like, well, if the TV stations have that access to know what's going on, they have satellites relaying the information. Was that embargoed? I would imagine it was. Like, I would imagine whatever network, say NBC, had the rights to the Olympics, no other station could release that video or that information until NBC did, and they held it. It was embargoed until prime time, and then they would air it. In some instances, 12 hours later, 8 hours later, wherever it was, into prime time. So that's what's now. It's like we have the internet, we have instantaneous social media. We know exactly what's going on as it's happening. So it kind of ruins the fun of like, I mean, several hours in advance because it's they'll air a big race in prime time just to get those viewers, but we knew at 9 a.m. what happened. So it kind of ruins the fun, but that's the world we live in. What's up, Herman? Good morning. So the Olympics. I don't know if I'm gonna I get really excited leading into the Olympics, and then it's like, I'll watch old wrestling, and I just, or there's a basketball game on. So I think there was something on curling, might have been on last night. I think there was a women's hockey that I saw. Um, I've got like a box of Winter Olympic cards. Where did it go? I think this is the box of Winter Olympic cards. So I've got to go through, and there's some like Evan Lysacek or Lychek. I don't know if these are from like 2014. Now there's Hillary Knight was in this set. Uh, she's a women's hockey player, and I think I had 8 or 9 of her base cards that sold for $5 each, and then I had a bronze foil that sold for like 10. So I pulled all the Hillary Knights I had. I don't know what else is selling, so I'll have to. This is the prime time to sell Winter Olympics trading cards. Herman is watching curling. Remember VHS recording a game and then asking everyone not to tell you what happened? Yeah, now it's like impossible to not know, because anytime you open your phone or there's push alerts that instantly notify you what's going. So you have to turn off your push notifications. But I talked about this. I talked about this the other day where I don't record games and watch later. Like that's just not. Wrestling is the closest that I do, and I talked about this because of the Royal Rumble, and I didn't want to know the results of the Rumble, but I just basically, like, anytime I was perusing social media, and I saw something that could spoil it for me, I'd like instantly looked away, scroll past. So it's kind of impossible these days. Um, but I would record, like, back when I was in grade school and junior high, I would record March Madness, and I just put on like what was the VHS? There was like SP and SSP, not short print or super short print, but SP and EP, LP. I think it was SP, EP, and LP. And like that was the quality, like 2 hour, 4 hour, 6 hour on a VHS tape, and I'd put it on 6 hour and just record it from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. and watch you know college basketball. Um, Bo, as a kid, probably Bo, the internet is amazing. You have any info if you want at your fingertips. Cool. Immediately seared old wrestling results. That's what I did. Like that's the first time, the first in old internet. Like if you were around, Zach, you were around old internet, like 1996, 97 internet was like, I mean, today in today's world, like that's what you looked at. Was like just like results, like not wrestling results, but like just it was like newsletter-ish. It was very archaic. So yeah, I looked up old wrestling results. My notifications come 3 seconds before I see it live. My goal today is 3,500 active, just shy of 3,400 now, scanning away. That's awesome, Jenny. I have not. I dipped below 10,000 active listings. I think I'm down to like 9,900. My sales have been really poor this week, and I think the main reason is because I haven't been listing. Um, I've been going through all this in shipping, so I'm just keeping my head above water. I do need to break away today, get upstairs, and I just want to get above 10,000 active listings just to put something new in my store because I haven't. I'm waiting to put the Goodwill stuff. And I wanted to talk about this as like the main topic, but I'm going to save it for another day of how to sort and organize, like streamline the process of buying and selling a big bulk collection like this. So I'm going to save that for another day. But I'm following the path, like just kind of like going into selling cards full time. There's going to be some potholes in the road along the way. You just have to push the gas and keep going. So that's kind of my thought. I've kind of been my mental health in terms of looking at my eBay sales, and everybody else is having great eBay sales, and I'm sitting here in the corner pouting because my eBay sales are down. But there is a bright side to that. Hopefully this doesn't screw up. I just clicked on the eBay window. Hopefully it doesn't screw up my stream. Uh, my impressions are way up. I'm at 12.5 million impressions in the last 30 days, which is up 38%, but my sales are down. My quantity sold is down 4%. My dollar sales have really taken a hit here this past week. Um, so I think once I start putting some new items in the store, I think I'll get a real nice boost. And I think that's the main reason my sales have been down because I really haven't added anything new in over a week because last week I was getting prepared for my card show. And then this week with the collection, it's been almost 2 weeks since I've really put a good, additions into my eBay store. So, I get into the thought process where it's like, man, I'm under 10,000 listings. Here we are in February, and my goal is 50,000 by October 15th. And I don't think that's gonna happen because here I am just trying to tread water, stay above water, and I'm not doing a very good job. But hey, October's still a long way away. But I also have to be real about it. Like spring training trip next month. Just random weekends away. So if we do go to Europe this summer, that's really gonna put a hit on my time in listing. So and it's like it's one of those things where it's like, well, maybe I just do 10,000 listings and not release them, but I want that steady sales. And I don't want to just release 10,000 more items and then boom, my sales shoot up and I'm underwater. Like by scaling up, by doing it this way, I'm able to keep on top of it and know my limits. Where if you save 10,000, you doubled your store, you're just inundated and you're getting behind on shipping. And it's going to be, that that scalability is not there. It'll really bite you. So that's the reason why. Let's go to the chat. Turkey Cards, what's up? Good morning. The rare cool teacher might bring in the TV on wheels to watch March Madness in the afternoon. I did not have that cool teacher. That was a rarity. Um, I'm trying to think if I ever like it would have been in high school and gosh, I don't think maybe in study hall, but I don't think I ever because at my school was really strict and it was a small rural public school, but they were really strict on education. But how dare they be strict on education at a school? But like study hall, like there wasn't like a gifted study hall or a detention study hall. It was super smart kids and the not so super smart kids. So the super smart kids had perks, which hey, this you're rewarded by doing well with your studies, which is how it should be. I did not fall into that category because I liked watching March Madness and sneaking a Sports Illustrated into my English book. So they didn't want to reward the poor performing students in study hall. So it wasn't like this blanket, it's like, okay, if you are an A student, you can go to the computer lab and play games or whatever. So we didn't really have those instances where we had TVs rolled in for March Madness. So if you did, you're lucky. Diego, what's up? Good morning, my card collecting homies. Good morning to you. Dan says I was on a BBS and AOL Prodigy in 93, 94 on Windows 3.1, listening to Bush and Pearl Jam, playing games in DOS with floppies. Wow, that predates my first internet foray was 96. And that was when my buddy Scott got the internet. He was the first person I knew with the internet. I don't remember anything AOL Prodigy in 93, 94. I don't remember like our computer lab so I was in junior high in 93, 94. Our computer lab was the old Apple IIs with the floppy disks. And then we had our media center, which is what we called basically the library, had like 8 or 10 computers, like the newer like IBMs, and they had like the gorilla game where you threw like um the boomerang and you tried to knock down skyscrapers. I just remember playing that in junior high in the computer lab. Jenny says my sales are down. Oh, where are they at? My sales are down from 3 p.m. yesterday to now 4 sales. Yeah, I'm down, and I think a lot of it is because of just not adding new inventory. And Zach says I can tell Bo hasn't uploaded new cards to his store because Pete Inky is staring me in the face when I search newly listed. Sports car Diego, you got it, Jenny. What if spring training is canceled? Do something else. So spring training won't be canceled. Major league spring training, um, there's a potential. But the minor league camp is still there. So there's still going to be minor league camp. I will still go out there. But if it's only minor league camp, and my trip isn't planned until the end of March. And so MLB stepped up and said, hey, we need a federal mediator to come in for these negotiations. I see that as a good thing that, okay, these two sides are not going to come to an agreement. We need some outside help. So that tells me, and here I am. I continue to be optimistic. Um, last week I'm like, next week a deal's going to get done. Well, here it's Friday. So a federal mediator is going to jump in. So maybe next week, maybe next week a deal gets done. So I don't think it's going to get canceled. I don't think there's going to be any delay to the regular season. I think spring training's going to be delayed, hopefully only a week, because pitchers and catchers typically report here in the next 2 weeks. So be on alert, players to report. Hopefully they just say, hey, get ready. So I will still, if God forbid that happens in there's no spring training at the end of March, I will still go to Arizona, to Mesa, and watch minor league camp. Now my trip will be shortened. Maybe I only go for 4 days as opposed to 7 or 8. But I'll still go out there just to watch minor league camp. Diego says my sales are still at an all-time low. I am focused super hard today because it will be 10 degrees, and next week it's going to be in the 30s. I have to get outside next week. Yeah, I'm looking outside and I see I don't know what it is. There's some type of steam that I can see out my backyard window, and it's like, oh, I can see a lot of steam. Must be cold. And I look, it's -2. It's like, it's February. That's January weather. We start like at least get up into the teens. Not this negative crap. Um, so I'm itching to get out. Let's see. Diego kidding about sales. Zach says, do you have an eBay store? If so, send me your link. You're being phony. Dial-up was so loud to log on to. Oh yeah, it was crazy. And then when Napster came along, I was in high school when Napster came along. Burning CDs, pirating the music, all that crap. Um, I'd have the dial up. I'd have my Napster queue set up like after 10 p.m. because we weren't going to get any phone calls, and then I just had to make sure I was up before my parents so I could turn the internet off. Back in those days, I remember it being a big deal when someone had 56K. Yeah, I had. I remember going from 28.6 to 56K, and it's like, holy cow, it's so much faster. Can you imagine if the internet was instantaneous? So that's what we thought back at the time. And then my world was turned upside down in the early 2000s. I didn't get high speed internet until 2003 or 4, and uh, got that high speed internet, and oh my god, I was me and my roommate downloaded so much freaking music. We had our service provider, our internet service provider, like called us weekly, like, hey, you're using too much bandwidth. Um, so yeah, we just by that time Napster had been shut down. I think it was Kazaa. I called it Kazaa. Some people called it Kaza, I think. Kazaa. I like Kazaa better. There was another one too. What was the other one? Sound. I can't remember. BitTorrents. Yep, BitTorrents. Um, there was one other one. I think it started with an S, but Napster and Kazaa were my two major ones. 28.8. I think you're right. I think it was 28.8. My favorite thing to do was make box art for the WWF WCW pay-per-views that we would buy then tape. Usually they did the 4 hour setting. Any thoughts into StreamYard in a couple weeks? Kazaa Light, yeah, Kazaa Light. Yeah, it's possible. I'll see StreamYard for the 500th show. I think that would be cool, something different. Um, so let's talk about my Goodwill update. So I've just been continuing to go through. I'm at the point now in the process where now I'm just sorting and I'm pulling cubs, putting cubs in a box, putting my eBay inventory in another box by sport. So I'm just ripping through all that stuff. I'm not finding much anything that was in boxes that I thought there might be some LimeWire. That's what it was. I was LimeWire. I was way off. I thought it started with an S. LimeWire was the other. That was what I was thinking. Um, so I haven't really found any other like big hits when it comes to this. Just because a lot of what I'm going through now is just the junk, the 90 tops, 88 Donruss, some of that stuff. Um, I did find a Kobe Bryant rookie yesterday. Now it's one of those like classic, or I think it's collector's edge. So it's one of those like unlicensed type deals. But it's a decent card. It's a Kobe rookie. I found a LeBron James second year card. It's tops total. Again, it's lower end, but a LeBron second year, still a good find. So that's what I found yesterday. And just going through the rest of the boxes. I did take a pic. I said yesterday I'm gonna take a picture. I should have yesterday because I've actually made a ton of progress in my rec room. It looks like a disaster still, and I've made a ton of progress. I threw a couple big boxes of cards away yesterday. And now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together like 100 to 200,000 commons and just sell them on Facebook Marketplace just to give myself some more room. So that's a lot of this stuff. So this is the perfect opportunity. So I don't, because if I put it away, then I just want to keep it. But it's like I'll do a big sort. I'm going to pull everything that I want for obviously the Cubs, and then anything that's going to go in the eBay store. The rest is just going to be bulk sold. And there's some stars in the bulk, the bulk boxes. So if anybody's in my area that wants these, let me know. Because I'll be selling them for real cheap. There's a guy on Twitter that does everything 87 tops. I can't recall his name though. I'm not familiar with that either. So that's my update. Just going to continue flying through it today. I think after I get off here, I'm just going to go out there, go through a couple more boxes just to continue putting in dents into it, and then do some shipping. And then I do want to get 100+ cards listed in my eBay store because I'm down under that 10,000 mark. I want to stay above 10,000 active listings, and I am at slow. 9,900. It's still loading. So excuse me, did I hear you call 1990 tops junk? Yes, I'm sorry I did. I may have been distracted by those basketball slabs you've been trying to sell in Hurdy Run. Yeah. Those are junk also. I did make a retail run yesterday. I went to Walmart, just had to get out of the house. Usually my Walmarts lately, they've been getting stocked on Thursday afternoons. So it was like 3 o'clock, and it's like, I'm just going to, head down and check it out. Had not been stocked. So I don't know if they stocked a little later yesterday or if they're going back to a Friday schedule. So maybe this afternoon, if I, want to get out of the house, I'll head to Walmart to see, because what I'm after is AEW, Upper Deck AEW, and I know that their retail is coming out. I think it's already been released in some areas. I didn't see any last week. Might have been sold. I know it's a hot product. So what kind of retailer are we looking for? AEW, Upper Deck. I just want to rip into it. So hobby boxes are expensive and kind of hard to find. So I know the retail has been released. It's out there, but I just don't know if it's hit my area. At least I haven't seen it here locally. So that's what I'm after. And then I'm always looking for penny sleeves. So I think I'm just going to put a bulk order in. Actually, I think I have a box somewhere of a bunch of older ones. So I think I'm going to put a case order. Columbia Hobby's got some good prices. BCW is still back ordered on penny sleeves, but Columbia Hobby has them in stock. Ryan Fagan, yes, now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, he posts a lot of 87 top stuff. He's from, I think, the Sporting News. Hey, Bo, this is for motivation. You are doing a great job, but you could do better. Crush those goals. Same thing goes for Jenny. I appreciate it. Thank you. I bought a case of penny sleeves, $50 on eBay. Okay, that's a good deal. I like that. Let's see. Okay, final topic. Does your Walmart get 5 packs of one touches? No. My area, all my area Walmarts have been like, they used to have a really good mix of supplies. They would have one touches, they would have the card savers, they would have pages and penny sleeves, and the big team bags, which I actually like because they fit the big card savers very well. But now lately they've only been carrying like pages upon pages upon pages. No one touches, no card savers, which I have several thousand still. No penny sleeves. I did buy like a 5-pack at Target, but that was like a year ago. I haven't seen any supplies outside of pages at Target either. So that's basically all that I've been seeing is the pages. Final topic I want to talk about, Project 70, which I haven't talked about. I don't even know if I talked about the Sean Dunston card that was released last week. Released by Mims Bands. It was an ode to the 85 Topps Sean Dunston. Mims Bands was like an armband that many players wore back in the 80s into the 90s. Sean Dunston was one of them. And the Mims Bands did a Sean Dunston card last week, so I had to have it. So picked that up. But other than that, I haven't really been paying attention to Project 70. And I don't think many other people have either. Once a Cub sent me a message yesterday, and it was, hey, this is what's coming tomorrow. And it was a Javi Baez card. And it just said it was a card with like basically a blue background, El Mago, and then a small picture of Javi Baez in a Mets uniform. And I responded with one word, yuck. Mainly because it's Javi in a Mets uniform. I just didn't like it. I just didn't like the card. Little did I know, and I had like so it was brought to the attention of the artist by Sarah Spain, who you see on ESPN's Around the Horn. She said, hey, this is I don't know the tweet, but she basically called the artist out because it was a knockoff of Obvious Shirts, which Obvious Shirts is a t-shirt company in Chicago. The guy, the owner, creator is Joe, awesome guy. I've met him a few times. Basically the what Obvious Shirts are, it's obvious. And he has a shirt, El Mago. And that's it. It's just a light blue shirt, white lettering, El Mago. One of the first shirts, and this is my type of humor. It's like Jake Arrieta is good at baseball. I think that was one of the first shirts that Obvious Shirts created. And it's just a bunch of sayings that are, well, obvious. So the artist was Old, and I don't know if it's Old Man Allen or Old Manolin. I'm going to call him Old Manolin because it rolls off the tongue quicker. I like it. So Old Manolin has been kind of, there was an early, and I think it was in Project 70, it was a Tony Gwynn that was like clearly the same, like basically the same card that had already been floated on the internet. So this isn't like the first time somebody's been like, hey, that's kind of a ripoff of this. So I had no like, and I know Joe, the owner of Obvious Shirts, and I know Sarah, and I had no idea. Like, I did not put in I like Obvious Shirts are everywhere here. I did not put two and two together on the Obvious Shirts connection with this card by Old Manolin of Javi Baez, El Mago. Like I didn't even think about like when I first saw it, like I no clue, no clue. So when I saw the tweets this morning, it's like, what? Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense. Um, so it's in actually I think it was Paul Lesko that I saw the first. He's like, is this going to get added to the collection? So basically, Old Manolin reached out to Joe from Obvious Shirts and said, hey, I apologize. I had no idea. I can, work with Tops and, get you some of the money. Joe responded. He's like, hey, man, I appreciate it. I don't need a dime. He's more upset with Tops. And Joe even said, I've been trying to work with Tops and they should have known. And that's kind of been a common theme throughout the Project 70 art drama. When it arises is Tops should have known, and all that. And it's like, I do want to give Tops a little benefit of the doubt here because how can an overseer of this project or even a team, how can they know like every little like a t-shirt company in Chicago or um uh an anime design or whatever else uh that's been I don't want to say ripped off but used in a similar fashion as the original art. Or the one guy that was an artist, and I think they had a collaboration later on. And it's like it's like you got to give Tops the benefit. Like they can't like you know there's not a program that I'm aware of that you can just plug in and be like take this photo and see if there's. I guess there probably is. Maybe I don't know. So you got to kind of give it's Tops can't be on top of like every single piece of art, photo, uh, intellectual property in existence. So I do give them a little benefit of the doubt. I think a lot of it goes on the artist. Like the artist is the one. Like, what's your inspiration behind this? And was their intent? You know, and it could have been an honest mistake where maybe they saw it in image and like, oh, that's a good idea for art, and not really put more thought into it than that. Maybe it was a blatant, and I'm not singling out any particular, but maybe it was a blatant ripoff, maybe it was an honest mistake, maybe it was, hey, I had no idea and this is what it is, because it is a simple, like, it's just El Mago in a photo. Like I don't see a connection to it, but the parties, you know, there was an apology, there was an acceptance, and we'll move on. So, I hope Tops doesn't do another project, an art project, and I feel bad for some of the. And here's where art is. I like art, but I'm not. I like Ermsey's style. Like, there's no such thing as bad art unless it's like a blatant ripoff. It's just your interpretation or it's subject. Art is subjective. And I've talked about this before when talking about Project 70. It's like, Blake Jameson and Lauren Taylor are phenomenal artists, but it's not my style. Like, I don't like, it's just, yeah, it's cool. It's nice. They're talented, but it's not my thing. But Ermsey and the block art guy, what's his name? Keith. Like, I like that stuff. Like, that's like, I like that. And some people, oh, that's crap. No, it's not. Well, to you it is. It's subjective. It's not bad. Maybe you think it is, but in general, it's not. So that's my thought. I hope Tops doesn't do. And so going back, I feel bad for like the artists that really put, and I know Blake and Lauren put a ton of work. They take it seriously. Some of the artists don't, and you can tell they're just kind of writing it in. So I feel bad for the artists that have been involved in these projects that do take it seriously and do a great job. Because as a whole, it comes off as like just kill this project. There's been so many issues. I was a big fan, and it's like, okay, you're gonna have some issues when it comes to art. Like art, it's that's what it is. There's gonna be, how people interpret it. But now it's getting to the point where they're having issues with, legality. They're having issues with getting art in on time, on deadline, and it's just like they bit off more they can chew at any rate with over 1,000 cards in this set. Like, little overkill. So I hope they put it to bed, because it's kind of it's dying a slow death here in its final days. David says, okay, I bought a 5-pack like a month ago at my Walmart, but recently it's just been single one touches. With the 5-pack, you get one free, so it's a pretty good deal versus buying them individually. Low Roller says, do you ever think selling your sports cards on Whatnot in the future? I haven't even looked into Whatnot. I should just look into it just to see what it's all about, because I hear other people talking about it. I have not, but it is something that I might consider down the road. Dan says, don't care for the guy putting those fangs on every card. Low Roller says, asking Jenny how many sleeves. Also dislike the no face on the player. Oh, and see, Dan, I like that. I like that one. I think it's interesting, and I like the backstory. And like Bobby Hundreds with the errors. Like, early on, I thought it was great, and then it was kind of like after it's been done a couple times, it's like, okay, well, here it is again. But I like that, and like his first release was the 90 Tops Ken Griffey Jr. And I'm like, this is terrible. It looks like the card. There's no art to this. It's basically the 90 Tops Griffey. But then when I read the backstory and, his love for error cards, and then, there's like 6 errors on this card, pick them out. So I like that. And he did a Cubs. He did Ryan Sandberg. So I have that in my collection, which I'm very happy that he did that. Let's see. David says, I thought that all Project 70 releases based on video game covers from when we were growing up have been cool, but I bought 0 of them. I think they are way too expensive. I think the price is I mean, it's okay. Like, $20 is a little much. But I see the value in them, as because I like art, and my wife really turned my wife is a big time art collector, and just loves art. So I've gotten more into art. So I think $20 is actually a good price. Now, if fortunately I'm not a Yankees fan, because I was buying all the Cubs cards. And then I missed a couple, and now it's just like, if I like the Sean Dunston, I bought because like that was, and it's probably going to go down as my favorite in the set. But some of the early, like the very first Cub, which didn't come until like card 110 or 120, was Ernie Banks with Clark the Cub, and it's like, this is cheesy. But I bought it because I was going to collect every Cub, and then I missed, like, I think Dizzy Dean was actually a Cub on his card that I didn't think of, because I really don't think of Dizzy Dean as a Cub. So I missed that, and then I think I missed a Sosa just because I got lazy and forgot. And then I think I've missed 1 or 2 since. So I think I'm missing like 3 or 4. But the price point, like, I think if it's just you're casually collecting, I think it's okay. But if you're like trying to collect the entire set, it can get, expensive. One of my probably my biggest regret in terms of buying Cubs cards, I have 2. The first came when I was just buying everything on Topps Online a couple years ago, and I bought 9 Javi Baez Topps Living Set cards. It's like, why do you need 9? Well, I can fill a page. And it's like, I paid like $5 a card. I paid $45 for 9 cards. But I mean, it was $5 a card. It's a little different, but still, it's like I could have just bought one for $8 and used the rest on something else. And then a bigger mistake in my eyes. I bought an artist proof of the first Javi Baez in Project 70, which they're like 180 bucks. And it's like I could have bought a nice pre-war card, and it's the artist proof, like it does nothing for me. When I got it, it's like this is what I got. And so I those are two. I wish I had mulligans on those two. The Javi artist proof, and then the nine Tops Living set Javis. Zach says, give me a good Broder over Project 70 anyway. I do like the old the original Broders with the rounded edges, and in fact, I just sold one. And what Zach is talking about, so a lot of and Rich Klein is with us. Good morning, Rich. Rich will probably like the Broder discussion. So Rob Broder was a photographer in the 80s and used. So actually, I sold this Will Clark actually this morning. So this is from, I believe, 1987. So this is an original Broder card, an actual Broder card. So this is Will Clark, 1987, I believe. And so on the back, just very simple, Will Clark, photos by Rob Broder. So Rob was a photographer, and I don't know if he still is. Rich might know Rob. But Rob Broder was a photographer, namely in the 80s, and he produced these cards. Well, he didn't have a license. And so I think there was some, I don't know, trouble. I don't know. I don't know what happened, but those are original Broders, and there was a few years. So this is an actual Broder card. But then when it comes to the 90s, Broder's actually, because he was like a pioneer, I guess you could call him a pioneer of unlicensed cards. Because then by the late 80s and early 90s, you had this influx of unlicensed, just random cards. And I'm trying to find, perfect, Jose Canseco. So then by the late 80s, early 90s, you had all of these cards. And you had like Michael Jordan in a White Sox uniform. You had all the Bo Jackson cards. So most people just lump all of these unlicensed cards from the 80s and 90s into Broder cards, where this is not a Broder card. I don't believe Rob Broder took this photo. This is just essentially a homemade custom unlicensed card. But this is an actual Rob Broder photograph card, Rob Broder on the back. So now we just lump them up, and I think I saw the comment. Zach says, Broder is like Kleenex for tissue when speaking of unlicensed cards. So many cool bows. Yes, and that's exactly what it is. We just kind of lump all unlicensed cards from that era as Broders, when in fact not all of them are Broders. So Rich says, from what I hear, he is still with us. Okay, good to know. Let's see. I'm gonna go back up to Rich is still iced in Dallas Fort Worth, having nasty weather in Texas. It's just cold up here in Wisconsin. No snow. In fact, a lot of our snow melted the other day. We got into the 40s earlier this week. Now it's -1. It's warmed up to -1. But I'd rather have -1 than ice and snow. Walmart's selling a single 100 pack for $2. That is correct, because I picked up a couple penny sleeve 100 pack of penny sleeves, and they were actually like $2.49 a pack. I assumed they were $1 to $1.50, and guess what assuming does? That's what happened. Fortunately, I only bought like 3 packs and not like 100, so I overspent on a couple packs. Fire right there. Surprised you sold it since it is junk. I only called 90 Tops junk. And 88 Donruss. Let's see. Low Roller says, can you find a good deal? Penny sleeve and top loader on Goodwill and Thrift Shop. Go to Columbia Hobby. They have great deals. Cases of top loaders are around $80. Star cards. Yep, Star cards in the mid to late 80s. Rich says his dad, Ed, had been producing cards since the 70s. And some people that it's not Rob, but Ed who did the photography and all the Broder card stuff. Interesting. And remember, Star Cards had the NBA license. That's right. Star Cards was the NBA card manufacturer of the mid 80s. When did they come out? 83, 84. Star equals limited production at 500,000 printed. Those unlicensed 80 to 90 sports cards worth a lot of money. I wouldn't say a lot of money. This Will Clark sold for $1.70 this morning. So, and my Jose that I just showed off, I think it's still in my eBay store for $1.50 shipped. So, Ed Broder also released some Japanese cards in the 70s. Interesting. That's some good stuff. I like that. So that's what I had for today. 45 minutes, and Fridays always seem to go long, and I have like nothing to talk about on Fridays. But we have great chat, so I enjoy it. Tomorrow I will be live. I'm not going to do a card show tomorrow because I'm still buried in cards. So no show tomorrow. No card show tomorrow, but I will go live. I will go live tomorrow morning, probably between 8 and 9. I've been working morning, noon, and night, so I'll probably sleep in and go closer to 9 a.m. tomorrow. And then Sunday, same, and then back to the regular schedule next week. So that's all for today. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great Friday, and we'll chat tomorrow.